One final touch before I eat it is just a little amount of olive oil on top. Just a little, really. Ciao and welcome back to the Tour of Sicily. Today's episode is going to be dedicated to Castelvetrano, which is still a western side of Sicily, the place where I grew up. And I'm going to be making spaghetti con aglio, which is garlic, olio, olive oil, and peperoncino, which is chili pepper. And I will be garnishing them with some parsley. You might have tried this before, and it's delicious, I'm sure, but I'm not sure if you've tried my version. My version is going to be very, very creamy, and I'm going to be sharing with you the secret on how to make it, and maybe if you make it in future you will give it a try. Let's get started. A key ingredient in this recipe is the olive oil, so make sure that you do use extra virgin olive oil, and I'll be using 3 tablespoons of olive oil per person. I have also sliced the garlic in very fine little pieces as my next ingredient, 1 clove per person. And the chili pepper also, again I will be using part of 1, too big, but I'm using a mild chili pepper. I think it is important to remember that the predominant ingredient here is the oil and the garlic. And if you use a very, very spicy and very hot chili, it will be taking over the flavor, and it's not about the chili. The chili is there to blend and complement the flavor. But whatever you do, make sure that you go and wash your hands afterwards. And very simply add them to the oil. Water is boiling already, so I'm adding a little salt, and in goes my spaghetti. Ensure that the garlic is sizzling and it doesn't burn. You want it to turn into a nice golden color. If it goes brown, it will go bitter and it will totally ruin your dish. So keep an eye on it, and you do not want this to sizzle for more than a couple of minutes. Beautiful. If you look at it, it's nice and golden already, and it's when I'm going to now add my spaghetti, which I've also taken out after a couple of minutes. If you look at them, they are quite hard still, so they're not cooked by any means, but that is part of the process of cooking this recipe. So here, look, they are still very, very stiff. And you will have retained the water from the pasta and add a couple of ladles. Keep the temperature on a medium heat and start simmering, a little bit like if you were making a risotto, and this is the same process but with the spaghetti. So while we wait, please let me tell you a little bit about Castelvetrano, and by all means feel free to skip to the next chapter if you wish, as I will be putting chapters in this video. So 25,000 people, south of Trapani, approximately 1 hour away, and also 6 miles away from the coast. At the coast you will find a beautiful fishing village called Selinunte, still traditional colours of Sicily, really, really picturesque and beautiful. But what makes Selinunte very famous in the world is its archaeological site. It's one of the largest in Europe, and you will find there some beautifully well preserved temples. And if you were to visit alongside other hundreds of thousands of people which go every year, you would be amazed how beautiful it is in there. And also, if you were to go there, go and visit Aglio as well, where there is a massive site with some other beautiful temples, again very well preserved. But the reason why I'm choosing Castelvetrano today, besides being maybe in my hometown and there is a little bit of an influence there, is also the very high quality olive oil that they produce. And bearing in mind we're doing aglio, olio and peperoncino, I thought it would be quite appropriate. And the quality of the oil is a very, very important factor in this recipe. So they pride themselves on their oil because it's made from a type of olive called nocellara del Belice, and has got 2 key characteristics, the olive. One is a medium-sized olive, but the proportionality in terms of the ratio from the flesh to the pit is very high, which means that they yield considerably more oil compared to olives of a similar size. But what makes them unique is the flavor, and the oil that comes from those olives is very peppery in taste, but also quite fruity and almondy at times, with an apple sort of taste to it, but also quite citrusy it can be. And I sometimes go around supermarkets and I find a little jar of Oil di Castelvetrano, which is quite nice, because actually it's such a small place, but here we are in the UK. Also in the States, I am aware that you can buy olive from Castelvetrano. So they're very, very tasty, and of course I'm here, you've guessed it, and I bring them back from Sicily, and I'll show you one there, and I'm gonna open it for you. So here's a whole one. This is the one I've opened, and here is the pit. And as you can see, there is quite a high proportion of flesh to it, and they are absolutely delicious. And I'm gonna try one now, otherwise it'll go waste. Buonissime. So I'm now choking myself. So a little glimpse on Castelvetrano, and hopefully interesting. Let's move on back to the recipe now. This is not going to take you any longer than cooking the spaghetti in the conventional way, the difference being that the starches from the spaghetti will be released into this lovely sauce while they absorb the water, which has got all of the flavor also from the garlic and the chili pepper. So it's a bit like making a risotto, so just be patient and continue mixing. As the level of water reduces, just add another ladle of pasta water. You do not want it to completely dry, as you do not want to fry the pasta. And keep on mixing until you are happy that the pasta is cooked. And if you look, can you see the lovely little creamy sauce which I've got here? And I think I'm happy that it's ready now, so I'll serve it up. Firstly, I will add a little parsley to give her some nice additional flavor. One final touch before I eat it is just a little amount of olive oil on top. Just a little, really. As Julie's not here to tell me off, I'm gonna have a big mouthful. Absolutely delicious. Such a simple dish, but the creaminess is what makes it really special for me. So if you get the chance to try make it creamy, by all means, ideal. But remember, use good quality olive oil for this one. Ciao ciao, thank you for watching. See you later. Bye.